Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well. I want to thank you for clicking on the video. If you've never watched one before, my name is Ricky Dye, and I went to prison when I was 15 years old in the state of Oklahoma for murder. I was in prison for 20 and a half years before I got out, and I did all my time in medium and maximum security prison. And I can't do anything about what I did that sent me to prison. Life doesn't work that way. We don't get do-overs. I never imagined when I was 15 years old that a few seconds was going to change the rest of my life and everyone's around me. But that's how it works. Sometimes we don't realize just how serious the situation we're in is. We take chances that we shouldn't take. And so, since I can't change my past, I thought the next best thing would be to share my experience. Share what I went through as a kid, being certified as an adult and sent to prison for 20 years with grown men. Share what that's like in hopes that it stops some other kid from making the same mistake. And maybe some of the things that I learned along the way will help you as a grown man as well, not just young people, but anyone. Uh, because life can be really hard, and it's hard enough without making it harder for ourselves. And that's what my channel really is all about. You'll enjoy the videos best if you'll start at the beginning and watch them, because that's the way I told the story. I started when I was 15, and I just kind of worked my way through everywhere I've been along the way. And that's what I'm going to do today. Is I'm going to jump back into my story. I've been absent for a little over a week. I apologize for that. I had a death in the family. I'm at that age in my life, and I'm sure a lot of you people are who watch these videos. We're at that point in our life where before we were the young ones, and then we had our elders kind of were the ones running everything around us, and now we find that we're the adults, and our parents or aunts and uncles, our elders, they're getting up there in age, and it's getting to the point in our life where we are the elders. And so when there is something like a death in the family, you never realize when we're going through life that other people watch what you do. They see how you react. And so all of my nieces and nephews, all the younger adults, they'll be looking at me now to see how I react to this. When my uncle passed away, so how did I act? So they'll know how to act. So if you have kids of your own, nieces, nephews, any young people around you, remember there's someone always watching you. And sometimes you're making an example, whether you realize you are or not. So try to make a good example if you can. With that, I'm going to jump back today. I'm going to jump back into my story. So if you've been keeping up with me, right now I was at Cushing. I've got myself in lockup. I ended up giving a guy $2,000, try to score some drugs to take with me when I got where I was going. When it was all said and done, all my bills were paid on the yard. They were all paid except for one guy. I told you there was one guy out there. This guy hadn't done very much time. He come in, he's always seems frustrated all the time. Young black guy, he always seemed like he always frustrated about shit. And when I had my tobacco and everything, I had to give him some and let him sell some so that he could make some. Say, give you a pouch top, man. You make $100, you keep 30, bring me 70. And I've done this with him a couple times and let him get a little money up under him. And he's running a store, but he always acts like people ain't going to pay him. And I'm always having to go and explain to him that, man, give him some time. The dude will pay you. People ain't trying to beat you all the time. You know what I'm saying? He's always want to fight if they don't pay him. Like they're going to beat him, but they have no intentions of beating him. They just, people have problems sometimes and need a little extra time. So he's always frustrated. I'm always coaching him on this. And I've paid everybody on the yard except for that guy. He pissed me off. He has went around and told people I caught out. He's telling people, I hear people are telling me that he's saying that I went to lock up and getting shit because I owe him like $20 in Debbie's or some shit. And I'm doing deals for a couple $1,000, idiot. So everybody's paid but him. I got pissed off, so I ended up telling him not to give him shit. I tell you that now because it's going to come up in a later video. Me and that guy are going to run into each other again. But they pull me up and they ship me from Cushing to Holdenville. Eventually, I end up going. That's where I go, is to Holdenville. So when I get to Holdenville, Holdenville is identical to Cushing. They call them sister prisons because they're built. One is identical to the other. They use the plans for this one to build this one. The only difference is they're colored a little different. The paint is a little different color. One's light blue and the other one's kind of a tan. But when Holdenville, when they first opened it up for Oklahomans, man, they were giving out fountain drinks in the chow hall. Cannot believe that. I've never seen that. It wasn't that way when I got there. But when they first opened it, they said you could go, there's a little fountain machine in the chow hall. Instead of tea or Kool-Aid, you got pop. I cannot believe that shit. But they were doing that. And the reason for that is these other states pay a lot more money. These inmates come from other states. They get good time just for going there. They try to appease them and keep them from tearing the place up. But they get us. I go over there, and you know me, man. I could not help myself. If you've been watching my other videos, you know that I found a way to sneak stuff into the prison. Okay, so the orderlies, there's a visitation room. People come in to visit. They walk through a metal detector. They check in at a desk, and they come in and sit in the visiting room and visit. But out there in that lobby, there's a bathroom for the men and the women. And I had a family member go in that bathroom. There's a vent in the ceiling held up by 2 screws. And I had them change those screws out, some that you could do with your thumbs, pull that down, and they would take a manila envelope, fill it up with tobacco, paint it black, pull that little vent down, stick it up in that vent, put that vent back up in there. And then after visits are over, the guards will go in there and they'll search that area. Then they'll bring 2 inmates in there to clean it once it's been searched. Since they think the area is clean, there's no reason to search the inmates again on the way in because there was nothing out there for them to get. That's the assumption. But of course, I had inmates going in there. They pretend they need to use the bathroom. They get it right out of there and bring me back manila envelope full of tobacco or whatever I deemed to sneak in that time. And being that these prisons are identical, the first thing I did is check to see if I could do it. And I cannot believe that this is how loose the security is in the Oklahoma prison system, that I was actually able to do the same shit again. So I couldn't have the same guy that got caught last time because he couldn't visit no more. But what I did is I wrote and I got Shelly to come back. I know, right, man? So now Shelly's already got 2 kids by another guy. Me and her have been together 3-4 times. We think we're married at this point. So one day I'm down in the visiting room. Me and Shelly, we had it all planned out to get married inside the prison. They will actually let you come down into the visiting room for an hour with a priest and a couple visitors and say your vows. You can set it up. You have to pay the prison like $50 for the staff, stand there. Back in the day, but yeah, you have a penitentiary wedding. And I had the money to do the wedding and everything, and then me and Shelly got in an argument, and I called it off. So after that, Shelly wasn't coming to visit every day like she usually was. Usually she was there every Friday and Monday, and then she'd be there Saturday or Sunday, because Friday and Monday everyone could visit, and then Saturday or Sunday they could visit once. But I could have, say, my girl comes Saturday and my mom comes Sunday. So Shelly, she kind of started bullshitting on visiting. So I thought it was because I didn't marry her. So I decided, all right, I'll just go ahead and marry her. So I go down to the law library and I have these guys draft up this piece of paper that says it's an affidavit of common law marriage is what it is. And it says on there that on their above date and time, I, Ricky Dye, do agree to be married to Shelly Sweeney, blah, 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 blah. So we go down there. There's a guy that's a notary that works at the law library. We have him come up there and I sign it. She signs it. We get it notarized. She's supposed to take it down to the county courthouse and file it and get a marriage license. And we're married. But she didn't go down and file it. So we weren't actually married. So we don't know this for all this time. But while I'm in Cushing, DU, I'll get a letter from Shelly and tell me that she was trying to fill out for some help with DHS or Social Security or something. She was trying to write down that I'm married to her and I'm in prison. She's trying to use me to get some kind of help. And they're like, no, y'all aren't married. Y'all aren't legally married. So she's like, what do you mean we're not married? She thinks she's married to me. So she writes me a letter and says, can we go ahead and get married again? I didn't file that. And I'm like, I haven't seen you in a couple years. And you write me a letter asking me, can we go ahead and get married so you can write me down on this thing? So we start off arguing through a few letters, and then we go to talking, and I'm thinking, shit. Now, I want you to remember at this time, man, I'm not seeing no light at the end of this tunnel. I've been locked up for years now at this point, and I don't think I'm ever going to get out of here to get to go home. So for me, all I have is whatever I can get in this prison to make my life better. And so I'm trying to get some weed, and I'm trying to get some cigarettes. Now, whenever I have my family coming up here and bringing me stuff, I would only try to get cigarettes, because why risk it to try to get weed if you've got cigarettes and you can trade them for everything? And that's generally what I would do. But with Shelly, I could get weed too. So one thing leads to another. We're talking to each other, and I get Shelly come back up there, and she ain't tall enough to reach the vent. So I got a cell partner, and I pull him up. I'm like, Shelly gets this other girl that's tall, that's a friend of hers, and she pulls her up, and she's like telling her how, hey man, me and Ricky used to make all this money, and he was paying my rent, and just really talking it up, all this money I've given her in the past, and that she ain't tall enough. Ricky, she needs this girl to help her. And this girl is down. This girl is like 22, 23 years old. She's down. She said she'll get on someone's visiting list. Well, I tried to put her on my visiting list, but they wouldn't let me, because you can only have one female friend, because they don't want you to end up with a wife on your visiting list and a female friend, or two female friends, and they got girls out there fighting in the visiting room. So to make sure they avoid that, you can only have one female friend on your visiting list, or one wife. If you have a wife, you can't get a girlfriend on your list. You have to get a paper showing you've been divorced before they'll let you have another girl. Because I ran into it. At one time I had Shelly down as a wife. They wouldn't let me see no one else. I had to prove that she wasn't married to me. But Shelly gets to come back up here, and she brings this other girl. This girl's half Mexican, half white. Shelly's dad is Mexican, mostly Mexican. So she's half white and half Mexican. And this other girl speaks Spanish. And I get this guy, my cell partner, he's a Mexican guy. And I hooked them up to go to visit each other so that she can get up there. So I put her on his visiting list, and them two come together. Me and my cell partner go out there to visit. Sit out there and eat ice creams out of the vending machine, candy bars or whatever, so that girl can come and stick that shit up in there for me. Now later on, that's going to cause problems, because dude starts wanting to run shit. But this is my whole gig. He's only getting to go out there because I set this shit up. So I get out there, and we're getting every week. I'm getting 3 cans of top. Got me a cell phone. And got me a lock blade. And the way I hide my lock blade in my phone is this: on the canteen, you can buy a loaf of bread, and you can buy peanut butter. Sometimes you can order a squeezed jelly that doesn't have real sugar in it, because they don't want you to have real sugar, because you can make beer. But you get a loaf of bread. So what I do is I pull out the first 5 or 6 pieces of bread, and then I pull out the next 6 or 7, 8, however many, and I hollow those center pieces out. Put it back in there, put my knife in the middle or my cell phone, then put those other pieces of bread in there, and then close that loaf back up, set up there, because they won't squash your bread when they search your cell. So it's really kind of a way to just put it out there in the open. But that shit ain't never got popped. So I had my knife that way and a cell phone that way for a long time. So I was hiding that shit right there. I would go around, once again, I would go around to people and find out, hey man, you get this, you get that. So I got all the people who do drugs. I'm making sure they got cigarettes and dip and cigarettes to smoke. I would give people white strips and toothpaste, special toothbrushes and special toothpaste, whatever people were willing to pay me to bring in there for them. So when I say I run the football tickets, so I started running the football tickets, and I wanted to break down the way that I run football tickets, because I've told you guys that before that I ran the football tickets at Hinton, ran the football tickets over at Cushing. So what you got to do to run the tickets, first of all, is you have to have a shitload of canteen. Because the thing is, if someone, okay, I have my mom send me the USA Today, and in there you'll have the line on the games for the weekend, on the games for football, NFL. You get the handicaps. So this team -7, this team -6, this team -5.5, whatever the line is. Then I pay someone that's in the law library. See, every DOC yard you're on, there's a law library. You have to have the right to to have access to any law material. It's in the Constitution. It's in everything. You have the right to go to a law library or to order the books that you need in order to defend yourself or study your case. You have a right. So there's a law library everywhere in the system. And anything that's not in that law library that you need, you can put in a request and they will borrow it from another one. But you will be able to get the books that you need. And that's how people go in and become jailhouse lawyers. They go in there and they study the law until they're proficient in it. And that's what Chad Marks did. And a lot of times, if you want to file a little suit, or you want to get married, or you want to get divorced from some girl, you have some little thing you got going on, or even want to appeal your case, you can go down to the law library and you can find a guy who goes there every day, who's inmate. There will always be several of them. And they're down there studying it every day, and you can pay them to do your case. And a lot of times they win. They win people's cases. Because a lot of them guys have been in there for years and years, and they're not getting out, and that's all they have to do. And that's their hustle, a lot of them. So, yeah. But I'm right back in the middle of it. So I get somebody that's down there. They have access to the printers. And they'll catch them not looking, and they'll print out your football ticket, and then they'll make copies for you real fast. You know, they got access to that, and that's their hustle. And you'll pay them, and they'll make you about a stack of sheets about that thick, and you take them back to the unit, and you cut all them little tickets off, and then you find someone on every unit to pass them tickets out, and you make a deal. I have somebody in every day room so that people can book tickets all the way up to the start of the game. If you get that guy to write your little ticket and put his initials on there, that ticket's booked. And if it hits, I'll pay you. If you pick 4, you put up $1, you get 8 back. So if you pick 4 teams and they all come through, then, you know, with a plus or minus, whatever it is, the handicap, say you have Dallas minus 6.5 and you have Washington plus 7, whatever the 4 you pick are. If you put up $1, I'll give you $8 back. And if you bet a soup, I'm going to give you 8 soups. And if you bet a box of Debbie's, I'm going to give you 8 boxes of Debbie's. So whatever you put on that ticket, you'll get that 8 of them back if you pick 4. If you pick 5, it pays 15. 6 pays 25. 7 pays 40. 8 pays 65. 9 pays 80. And a 10-teamer pays 100 to 1 if you can pick 10. That does happen once in a blue moon. That happens, but not very often. So in order to cover all these bets, you've got to have a shitload of canteen. So what I did is I bring in this tobacco, I get 3 cans a week, and I start on this unit over here, and I say, hey man, I'm going to give you 3 pouches of top. You can make $100 off each pouch. I want $200. You get to keep the last 100. So I give them a third of it. Here you go. Maybe the white boys over here, maybe a Crip, maybe a Blood, I don't care. I pick different people I can trust on every unit on the yard. And I kick 3 pouches of top there for $200 canteen. Now that guy is responsible for $200 in canteen. If I get hit over on this unit over here and I may need to move canteen from here to here, I can holler at that guy and say, hey, I need 100 of that you've got. And also there'll be, when you come up and bet a ticket, you got to give them the canteen you're betting, and it'll go in the kitty. And I'll pull in so much in each day room, and then in some day rooms I might get hit and have to pay a little out. But overall, you make a lot of money betting tickets, and that's how you do it. So they'll book the tickets all the way up till the game starts, and then first chance they have at chow or whatever, my bookies, they'll bring the tickets to me. So that way, if I get hit, I know who's hitting me. I know how much they've hit me for. I know how much I've got brought in on each unit. So it's really a little racket. And the guards really don't care about football tickets. Some people on some yards, they'll take any bet. Like, they'll let you bet a $100 bill if you want to, but I'm not accepting nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it for canteen, but you got to be able to have at least $700-800 in canteen to even do it, to even attempt it. But on top of that, I had access to a bunch of pouches of top, or if I had to have it, maybe an ounce of weed or something to pay someone off if I ever got hit real hard. But I always ended up winning. I've had very few weekends ever that I lost at all, and it would just be $20-30 here and there, and that's mostly because whoever's booking your ticket for you gets 25%. So if I come to you and I say, hey man, I want you to book tickets on this unit for me, then you get 25% of everything you book. If you bring in $4, $1 is yours, just for writing that ticket for me. So that's another hustle. But that's how you run tickets in penitentiary. And with that, that's my little short thing for today. I'm back at Holdenville, and we're going to pick up my story there. In my next video, I've got someone here to do the recording for me, and I'm going to do a video of someone comes to you, tells you, get your shit, strap up, meet me on the ball field. I've told you guys how to put on the magazines, wrap stuff around my arm, my neck, have my little ice pick. Well, I got somebody that's going to record me. I'm going to gear up and let you see how I do it. I think you'll enjoy that. And then remember, I laugh and joke about that shit, make it funny, but you know, that's how life is. We look back on the real bad things in our life and try to laugh it off, whatever happened, and it's our way of dealing with it. But let me tell you, that's not a position you ever want to be in. You never want to find yourself in that spot. Life is so hard out here already, man. It's too hard for us to make it harder on our own, to make it harder for ourselves. And I really hope that if you're thinking about doing something to get you in trouble, man, you'll appreciate the freedom that you have. That's the reason I like to do the videos out here like this. It really brings home to me that I'm free. I remember sitting on the yard out there in the penitentiary looking around, and there's fences all the way around you and bricks, and you can't see no one you love or go see your mama or call home or, yeah, never give your freedom away, man. Whatever you're dealing with in life, just keep chugging away. Don't give up your freedom for it. Everything's going to be okay. All you really need is something to eat and drink, something, air to breathe, and a spot to sleep. Hell, I sleep here by this tree before I go back to penitentiary. I want to give a shout out to the riders and dyers. The riders who ride till the wheels fall off, and the dyers keep riding even when they do. I want to give a thank you to Brandon Bonds. He sent me this shirt, these little bracelets. Don't let the hard days win. Not give into the war within. I'm with it, man. No Warrior Left Behind, the Valhalla Project, sent me the shirt and the bracelets, and I really appreciate that. Brendan's my dog. He's always there for me when I need him, and I appreciate it. I want to give a very special thank you to Ben Seaborn. I had a death earlier in the family this week. As I mentioned earlier in the week, had a death in the family, and I really had some problems and was up against it. And I reached out to Ben to see if he could help me out, and he done more than I asked him to do for me. It's a good friend of mine. Me and him going to spend some time at Eufaula on the lake up there fishing here in the next couple months. As soon as he gets everything lined out with his health. I'm praying for you, buddy, and I'm looking forward to that. Hope to see you guys in the next video. And until then, may God bless, keep, and protect each and every one of you. Peace out.